Have you ever noticed that the greatest dangers in your life rarely come from the people you expect? It's not always the loud tyrant, the obvious villain, or the manipulative liar who destroys the most. Sometimes it's something far more ordinary, something far more terrifying, and it may already be inside you. Dietrich Bonhoeffer, a German theologian who resisted the Nazis and paid for it with his life, once wrote that stupidity is more dangerous than malice. Think about that for a moment. He wasn't saying that ignorance is inconvenient or that foolishness is annoying. He was saying it is more dangerous than evil itself. Because while evil can be confronted, exposed, and resisted, stupidity is like an infection. It spreads quietly. It masks itself in certainty. It convinces ordinary people to become instruments of destruction without even realizing it. Bonhoeffer lived during a time when an entire nation, intelligent, cultured, capable, fell into the grip of something monstrous. How could millions of people, many of them kind and moral in private life, suddenly support cruelty, genocide, and blind obedience? His answer was chilling. Because stupidity takes over when people stop thinking for themselves. And that's where you and I come in. Let's be honest. How often do you really think for yourself? How often do you question the slogans, the headlines, the common sense of your social group? How often do you repeat phrases without ever testing whether they are true? The terrifying reality is this: stupidity is not a lack of intelligence. It's a lack of independence. It's when a human being surrenders their mind to the crowd, to propaganda, to the safety of conformity. Bonhoeffer observed that people don't become stupid in isolation. They become stupid as part of groups. When they hand over their moral responsibility to leaders, institutions, or trends. When they think, if everyone else believes it, who am I to question? That is when stupidity grows powerful and deadly. Think about history. Plato warned us in The Republic about the danger of the mob. Nietzsche saw that people would rather embrace comforting illusions than face uncomfortable truths. Machiavelli understood that rulers depend on the crowd's obedience more than their loyalty. And Bonhoeffer lived the consequences. Ordinary Germans, many of them educated, applauded the rise of a regime that would burn the world, not because they were evil masterminds, but because stupidity had hollowed them out. Now, here's the uncomfortable part. This isn't just about them, it's about you. Stupidity shows itself in subtle ways. When you share an article without reading it, because the headline matches your feelings. When you laugh at a cruel joke, not because you believe it, but because everyone else is laughing. When you defend a belief, not because you've examined it, but because it's what people like us believe. This is how stupidity grows roots in your daily life, through silence, through unthinking agreement, through the warm comfort of belonging. And here's the paradox. Stupidity feels safe, but it is the most dangerous trap of all. Why? Because unlike evil, stupidity cannot be reasoned with. You cannot argue someone out of stupidity, because stupidity is not about lack of information. It is about surrender. A stupid person is not missing the facts. A stupid person has given up the will to examine them. This is why Bonhoeffer said that stupidity is a more dangerous enemy of the good than malice. The malicious person knows they are doing wrong. You can resist them. But the stupid person believes they are doing right. They become an instrument of destruction while feeling morally justified. They obey orders, enforce rules, repeat slogans, silence dissent, and all the while they feel like they are on the side of virtue. Does this sound familiar? Look around. How many people today repeat the talking points of their political tribe without hesitation? How many share outrage online without ever asking if the story is true? How many cancel, shame, and attack in the name of justice, while never realizing they are puppets of the very system they claim to fight? Bonhoeffer's warning wasn't just about Nazi Germany. It's about human nature itself. Stupidity is not an exception of history. It's a recurring pattern. And unless you guard yourself, it will swallow you too. But here's the question. How do you resist it? The first step is brutal honesty. You must admit that you are vulnerable. Yes, you. Intelligence does not save you. Education does not save you. History is filled with professors, doctors, engineers, lawyers, brilliant minds who surrendered to stupidity because they wanted to fit in. The truth is, it's not the smart versus the stupid. It's the courageous versus the cowardly. The second step is to cultivate solitude. Bonhoeffer believed that true freedom of thought comes when a person can stand alone. Can you? Can you hold an opinion even when everyone around you disagrees? Can you say, "I don't know," when others rush to pretend they understand? Can you walk away from the comfort of the herd? The third step is responsibility. Stupidity thrives when people outsource their conscience. I was just following orders. I was just doing my job. I was just sharing what I saw. These are the words of the stupid. To resist, you must say, I am responsible for what I believe. I am responsible for what I repeat. I am responsible for what I support. No excuses. And here is the final, most terrifying truth. Stupidity is seductive because it feels like virtue. It feels righteous to repeat what the group says. It feels brave to attack the enemy. It feels wise to trust authority. But in the end, stupidity strips you of your humanity. It turns you into a function, a cog, a vessel for someone else's will. Bonhoeffer was executed in 1945, just weeks before the fall of the Nazi regime. He could have chosen safety. He could have chosen silence. But he resisted, and his words echo across time. Against stupidity, we are defenseless. Not because it is unbeatable, but because it requires each of us to fight it within ourselves. So ask yourself right now, when was the last time I believed something simply because others believed it? When was the last time I stayed silent because it was easier than standing alone? When was the last time I traded truth for belonging? The world will always have villains, but villains can be resisted. What the world cannot survive is armies of ordinary people who stop thinking, who surrender their minds to the slogans of their tribe. Bonhoeffer's theory of stupidity isn't a relic of the past, it's the hidden force shaping our present. And unless you awaken, unless you wrestle with your own vulnerability, you may already be a part of it. So I'll leave you with this question, the one you'll carry long after this video ends. Are you truly thinking for yourself? Or have you already been conquered by stupidity?